up, and welcome to Day-to-Day Ray with me, your girl Ray Ray. So I wanted to make an update video because I haven't done one in forever, and I'm kind of really super excited, and I've had some frustrations. So because I'm bringing you guys on this journey with me, on this weight loss surgery journey, I just wanted to keep you guys up to date because I haven't really talked much about it, but I have been doing so much. And yeah, and I still am not comfortable enough in my vlogging to actually like take the camera into the doctor's offices and stuff like that. Like, I've seen people who do that, and I'm just like, I just feel very uncomfortable doing that, and like I feel like I'm invading somebody else's privacy. And then it's like, what if they come back and they're like, oh, I don't want to be in the video, blah 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 blah, whatever. So basically, I am now all set and ready to go for surgery. I do not have my surgery date yet. I finally finished everything that was required by my stupid, stingy, money-hungry insurance. Sorry, but they're extra. But yeah, so I'm now finally finished everything. I had to kind of stagger everything. Plus with vacation and everything, I kind of had a loose, like I had some words. It weren't like official words like you're missing too much time, but between me being sick and my son's surgery and my son missing time and then vacation and then all my doctor's appointments that I was trying to cram. So yeah, I've kind of like had to stagger all my appointments and kind of spread them out so I wasn't taking all this time off of work at once, because I don't get paid time off. I don't have vacation days. I don't have personal days. I don't have family days. I don't have, like, if I'm not there, I don't get paid. Anyway, on to everything. So I got all my blood work done. I've been done my psych eval. I think I've talked about that a little bit. If you're new and this is your first video about me and my weight loss journey, I went to, of course, I'm getting weight loss surgery, and I did most of my stuff. And so one of the parts is, with all insurances, you do have to get a psychiatric evaluation. I did get mine, and it was the most weirdest thing. I've never been to a psychiatrist before. It was very weird, and I felt very uncomfortable. And it was just, I don't know, it was just bizarre. Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was something I've never done before. And so then I got all my blood work done, and there was some issues that I had to take care of with that, with my cholesterol. I did bring my diabetic, my A1C. I did bring my diabetes from a 10.4 to a 5.4. Go me. I can't say it's still that because vacation, and I need to get my mind right. I've been slipping really bad. Tonight we had pizza, and I've been trying very hard to eat a lot more salads. I still drink my protein shakes every day, but I know I have gained weight. I've only gained like 5 pounds, but I feel more bloated than anything. So I really need to get really 1,000% back on track. So let's see what else. Okay, so I went to the cardiologist, and what kind of made me mad, because I mean, it's just an inconvenience thing. One, I hate inconveniencing others. Many of you know on my channel, I am petrified, I am horrified of driving. And I get super bad anxiety attacks when I even think about me getting behind a wheel. I'm very anxious, and my anxiety is through the roof, to the point where I could get physically sick if I have to get into a car with somebody I don't know. And it's just weird. That's why, like, everyone's like, oh, take an Uber, take this, take that, they're verified. Like, that's all fine and good, but my mind's like, they're going to pull over and kill you. Like, it's a horrible thing to think, and it's a horrible thing to I don't know, but my anxiety goes through the roof. I had to take an Uber. Like, there was no other options to work one day, and I was like nauseated and like dry heaving in the driveway waiting for this car to pull up. Like, I was like, oh my God, I gotta go with the stranger. Oh my, like I was like on the verge of tears. I was literally dry heaving. She pulled up. I'm trying to keep myself together. And I'm sitting there, and luckily she was so nice. It's not like it was some weird, creepy guy, and I was able to loosen up. But it's so weird too, because I love doing a vendor events. And I guess because maybe, I don't know, because I genuinely like talking to people, but it's just like, I think it's the whole thing that surrounds the car. I think it's just the whole car issue, because I bet you if I met that person outside of the car, I would be better. But yeah, major anxiety. I have a lot of anxiety about all types of things, but I can get into another video if that's something that you would like to hear. I have no problem sharing my stories. And maybe it will help somebody. Maybe it'll make them feel like they're not alone and that they're not crazy, that other people do feel this way. Anyway, again, another story for another day. This is about my weight loss surgery. See, the rambling. Okay, so the psychiatrist, got my blood work done, got my A1C down. Yay. Then I went to the cardiologist, and he was like, I want you to do a nuclear stress test. Talk about anxiety city. I didn't know like what a stress test was. I knew of or what happens during a stress test, but that was a very long day. My appointment was like at 8:15. I did not get home till like 2:30. I was at this office all day. Like, it was insane. So I got that done. He gave me the clearance, so got that. And that I had my upper GI. I don't know what the results of that are, because they don't tell you there. But oh, if you have not had an upper GI done, it's not like it's bad, but that stuff that oh my God, what is it called now? The barium I think that's what it's called, that they make you drink. Oh, it is absolutely disgusting. So if you've never had an upper GI, what they do is this is something else that I wish they told you, because again, people, white coat syndrome, anxiety, you have to get undressed, okay? Take out all your jewelry, okay, whatever. But you have to get completely, like, except for your underwear, like, you have to get completely undressed. And I don't like that. Like, I am very uncomfortable in that. And most of the time, they don't have gowns to fit larger women, and you have to wear two. Embarrassing. So I'm like, oh my God. Luckily, they had gowns that were big enough, and it actually wrapped around me. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Okay. So anyway, you get in there, and the nurses were amazing. They told me step by step what was going to happen, what part was going to be next, what we were doing, the stuff I had to drink, how I had to drink it. And they even let me get into the machine so I can calm myself down, so I could be relaxed. And I loved that about them at the cardiology center that I went to. So the doctor came in, and I had to stand. It was like a tilt. It's called, I think, like a tilting bed. I think it's called. You can see the cats right here. They're playing. I think it's like some kind of tilting machine or whatever. And so you stand up and you drink. He'll say, okay, take a big gulp. And it's like this, because even the nurse was like, it's like drinking paint. You're not drinking paint, but it's almost identical to drinking paint. I'm like, great. It's this thick, chalky goo. And so he's like, okay, take a big gulp. And he's like, I'll tell you when to swallow it. And they move the machine, and he's like, okay, swallow it. And then as you swallow it, you have to lift your head up, and they move the machine down to your stomach. So then I had to do that like 2 or 3 times. Then he's like, okay, and you hold your cup up like this, and you're like holding it over here. And then he's like, okay, now I need you to down and drink. Oh no, the first step was they give you this fizzy stuff to expand your stomach, and you can't burp. They said you have to keep swallowing it. As bad as you want to burp, you cannot let that air escape. And I was like, what? And I wanted to burp so bad. And then I had to drink the barium. So I forgot about that step. So then he's like, okay, guzzle the cup. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, they're like, keep drinking. It was so thick and it was just so disgusting. And they just watch as you swallow it and it just goes down into your belly. So then they move the machine down and they're like, don't burp. Because I was like, oh my God, I let out burp. And they were like, don't burp, you can't burp yet. And I was like, oh, like it was like super bubbly. And I was like, okay. And then you have to get on this bed and they bring the machine that was just in front of you and they put it over top of you now, because now you're laying down and you have to continuously roll over. I thought it was like one of what is it, the big foot longs or whatever at 7-Eleven, like constantly on that little rolling thing and you're constantly turning. That's kind of what they had, because they want to coat your stomach so they can see everything. Then I had to get on my stomach and then they give you more barium and you have to drink it, and it's thinned out because you have to drink it through a straw, and you drink it and then they take the pictures and then you're done. That's it. And they're like, okay, well, you might be constipated for a few days, make sure you drink plenty of water and see along your way. I was constipated, TMI, I'm so sorry, but just in case you ever have to have this done, I was constipated for like 5 days. Like serious, like it was terrible. But the procedure itself wasn't. So if you have any anxiety about that, you're good to go. So then my last appointment, which was just the other day, was I had to get pulmonary clearance. So I had to get lung clearance. So I had to do PFTs. I had to do 3 different tests, 1 test twice, and yeah, but and believe it or not, I actually wasn't nervous for this test. I was excited because it was the last and final thing on my checklist that I had to do. So I was like, okay. And I went ahead and went there. And if you don't know what a PFT, I know it's like pulmonary function test. And instead of standing, they had me sit, and then they give you this big mouth guard, and you have to like go in from side to side, and then your teeth go on this one part and your mouth wraps around it. It sounds weird, but it works, because when she was explaining it, and again, the nurse there that did my breathing test, super amazing. She explained the whole process. We did a practice run before I got on it, and it was amazing. And she was super nice, made me feel really comfortable, because when I got there, my blood pressure was like 160. She said your bottom number was great. And then when we left, I said, could you check my blood pressure again? And my blood pressure was fine. It had went down to like 130 something. But again, the anxiety makes my blood, like as soon as I see a blood pressure cuff, like my heart starts racing. It feels like it's racing, and like I'm like I'm trying to like it's so weird. Like, again, gotta love that anxiety. So yeah, so you have to blow, like she says, okay, just do regular breaths. And then she'll say, I'll tell you when to take a big, she says, suck in real hard and then blow. She's like, pretend there's birthday candles across the room and you have to blow them out. And she'll be like, blow, 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 blow. And she's like, keep going. And you have to, she says, and don't blow with your face. Oh my gosh. Oh, this cat, crazy ass. She's like, don't blow from your face. She's like, don't make your eyes pop out. She's like, use your lungs, use your chest, use your, you know. And so I had to do that. And then she gives you an inhaler. She says everybody gets an inhaler. And then I had, the next test was the same thing, like you had to take a big deep breath in, but not as hard and as strong as the previous test. And then you had to blow it out for as long as you could, and she'll tell you when to stop. And then in between each test, you get to take a break. She takes, because you have to put nose clips on too, because it's all mouth breathing. And so that way she lets you breathe normally and get yourself back together before you get back and do the machine. You have to do each test 3 times. The one test I had to do 4 because they have to be within a certain percentile of one another. And my first one, I totally messed up on. I don't know how, but I had to redo it. And then the last test was super simple. it was basically just regular breathing. And I had to like keep blowing this thing up. It was weird, but I had to do that. And then the last and final test was just like the first ones, but they want to compare inhaler versus non-inhaler. Like before I started, ones without an inhaler, but that was it. I went and talked to the doctor, and he explained to me that the pulmonary is actually really important when you're having weight loss surgery because you're sedated, you're under anesthesia, and he says that your breathing gets labored, it gets very shallow, and the last thing you want to do is take deep breaths after you've had your insides all mangled and tangled around. So he said one thing that they want you to do is take deep breaths so you can start re-inflating your lungs after surgery. But he gave me the clearance and I'm good to go. Some frustrations. It's not so much with the testing. It's more with the incompetence in doctors' offices. So I had my lung function test done literally yesterday. And I called my hospital that I'm having the surgery at to let them know I was finished everything. And so she says, okay. And I asked her, I said, about when do you think somebody will call me to schedule my final? Because I have one more appointment, and that's at the hospital, and the surgeon and me and the doctors, they said it's like over a 2-hour appointment. I get a full body scan, get my surgery date, all that good fun stuff. And so as I was doing that, I was like, she says, well, we don't have any of your cardiology stuff. And I was like, what? I said, she's like, I have everything. She's like, I said, well, I had pulmonary done yesterday. She says, oh no, we got that fax this morning. And I was like, oh. And she's like, we just don't have your cardiologist. I said, I had all my stress tests and everything done. And she's like, no, we don't have anything. I was like, I have talked to them twice about faxing it over. I said, the first time she called, I said, I had told her to fax it over to you guys. And she said, okay. I said, then when somebody called to see how much longer it was going to take for me to finish my stuff for my final, I said, I told her, I said, did you fax it? I gave her the fax number that was in my book, and she said she was going to fax it. They still never got it. So she told me, she says, call the doctor's office that you had your cardio stuff done at. And she said, call them and tell them to email it to you. And she said, you can either mail it to me or the doctor, or you can, and that way it'll be put into your chart right away. So I was like, okay, called the doctor's office. And she's like, no, I faxed it. I said, they said they don't have it. They told me to get it for you to send me an email so I have it, so I can print it and I can fax it, or I can just email it directly to them. She's like, oh no, I can't email the reports. And I'm like, well, why? She said, because they're not, whatever it is, excuses, she said. I said, well, I need you to fax it over to them. And she said, okay, well, what's the number? I'm like, well, I don't have the fax number on me. I said, I'm at work. And she's like, well, I can't fax it if I don't have the number. I'm like, well, if you faxed it, wouldn't you already have the number? Like, come on. You know what I mean? And she was like, I don't have it. So I said, can I just give you the office number? And that way you can get the fax number from them. I'm like, my class is coming back in like 2 minutes. They're getting ready to walk in the classroom. I said, I have to, I was like, I don't have time. I said, I will call back during recess, which is about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And she's like, oh, well, I won't be here. What do you want me to do? Like, it's just so, I'm like, okay, fine. She's like, I'll call the office. She's like, I'll take care of it. I said, okay, fine. Please do that. And then not even 15 minutes later, probably about 15, maybe 20 minutes later, I lied. Probably about 20 minutes later, I get a phone call from my hospital, and they're like, oh, hi. And this is like the rudest. I've had like 3 different altercations where she's just been bitch city. And I talked to other people and they're like, oh, she's so sweet, she's so nice. I said, either she don't like me or something, like, I don't know. So she calls me and she's like, we're waiting for your pulmonary Do you have that scheduled? When do you plan on getting that done? It's like, I had it done yesterday. And she's like, oh, well, we don't have the results and then we can call you. I said, the woman I just spoke with 15 minutes ago told me it was already there. She already had my report. She's like, no. She's like, we just got your cardiologist. I said, yeah, I know, because the woman I just spoke with 15 minutes ago told me that they still didn't have my cardiologist stuff, which I had done over 2 weeks ago, and they still hadn't faxed it over. So I had to call them to get them to fax it again for the third time to get them to fax it. And she was like, well, we don't have your results yet from your pulmonary. I said, yes, you do. I said, because the woman I just spoke with told me I had my pulmonary stuff was already there. And she's like, well, let me check the fact sheets. And so she checks it and she's like, well, it's still in the fax. It's not in your file yet. And I was like, okay. She's like, but, because I said, yeah, I was like, I had all my PFTs and everything done. She's like, you just had PFTs? I said, yeah, that's all I had. She's like, no, I think you need more than PFTs. I said, I just went to the pulmonary doctor and they knew what to do. And she's like, no, hold on. I think you have to get more than just PFTs done. Hold on. And I'm like, but she was just so shitty about it. Like, she got back on the phone. She's like, you need pulmonary clearance. I said, yeah, he cleared me. He said I was good to go. He told me to have a great day and good luck with my surgery, and he hopes everything turns out I'm good to go. And she's like, oh. She's like, all right, well, we'll call you back with, so we can schedule your final. I was like, fine. Like, oh my God. So it was like, she was just so crappy, like just so mean, like, well, you need to do this. Like, no, I have everything done. It's not my fault that the cardiologist doctor's office can't get their lives together. It's not my fault. Talk to them. So anyway, I got that done. So now my next phone call should just be from the hospital to schedule my final, and I'll get my surgery date. And as soon as that happens, I will let you know. Also, let me tell you this really quick crazy story before I let you guys go. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hugs and kisses. So last night, because you guys know I don't drive, me and my husband, when we fill our prescriptions, we go to the same pharmacy. We've been going to the same pharmacy for 12 years, if not 12 years. Also, our anniversary was this month, which we've been together 12 years. So I think that's why 12 has been stuck in my brain. But anytime we need the medications around the same time, we just get them and pick them up at the same time. So we don't have to do any separate trips. Once a month, one trip, boom, we're done. So for the past, like I said, 12 years at least. So went in last night after my son went to karate, which he's now an orange belt karate. He has graduated from yellow belt finally, and actually the belt test was when we were at the ocean, but the instructor was finally there. I cannot talk tonight. He was finally there to give him his belt test. So yippee. I'm so proud of my son. He is so excited. So now he's on to orange belt. Yes. So anyway, so after karate, we ran to Walgreens to go get my prescription and my husband's, and I pick his up and they're like, you already picked yours up. Come again? And they're like, no. And they looked on the computer and they're like, what is your name again? And I told them, and they're like, you picked it up Saturday. No, I didn't. I didn't pick no medicine up Saturday. I was home Saturday. My husband was working. I don't drive. I was home. And in fact, I was home baking. And they're like, no, you came 3:23 and picked up your prescription. No, I didn't. I did not. I said, I just got the email. I had just gotten the email Thursday night. I filled it Friday morning because I asked my husband, I said, do you have any prescriptions? He said, yes, I already have 2 there that I need to pick up. And I said, fine, I'll fill mine, whatever. And they're like, okay, so whatever. Filled my prescriptions. They're like, no, you picked it up Saturday. I'm like, no, I didn't. I did not pick up my medication Friday. They're like, could anybody else have picked it up? I said, the only other person that could have picked it up would be my husband. Well, did he pick it up? I said, no, he's out in the truck right now. He did not pick up my medication. Why do you think I'm here picking up our medication? And they were like, hold on, da-da-da-da. And I'm getting like upset and frustrated. Now, mind you, we're all in the truck. It's hot. It's been like 90 degrees here the past couple of days with hellacious storms. And I was hot. I'm tired. It's going on like 7:30. We needed to eat dinner. I still had to cook dinner. I was making baked chicken and cauliflower rice and stuff like that. So I had to get home and cook. And it was just a mess. And I was getting so upset. And I was like, I did not get my medicine. And they're like, well, could anybody else get your medicine? And I was like, no. And they're like, was it a narcotic? I'm like, it was diabetic medicine. It was blood pressure and cholesterol medicine. I didn't get my medicine. I need my blood pressure medicine. And they're like, okay. So the pharmacist guy, he calls, I guess, the manager or whoever, and he's like, I need tapes pulled, and I need, he's like, I need tapes pulled, and I need, register receipts pulled. So they pulled up, and I FaceTimed my husband, and I was on the FaceTime. I was upset. He's like, what's the matter? And I told him. And he's like, you better tell. He's like, that's not your fault that somebody fucked up. Like, he was like on FaceTime screaming. And he was like, it's not your fault that somebody messed up. And they gave either your medicine was stolen or somebody gave it away. They were being lazy. They weren't checking, and they just gave it away. And he's like, you can call the police and file a police report and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I was just so upset, like super upset. And so the guy was like, calm down, don't worry. I'm like, I need my medication, because he kept saying, at first the woman who was waiting, she's like, no, you picked up your medicine. I said, if I picked up my medicine, why would I ask? I said, I've been coming here 12 years. Why would I ask for my medicine knowing I just picked it up? She said, maybe you forgot. No, I did not forget. She's like, well, it says here that they were picked up. Can anybody else pick them up? I said, nobody got my medicine. I was getting so upset. And I'm like, nobody picked up my damn medicine. I said, that's why I'm here, to pick up my freaking medicine. So mad, so upset. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Because they're like, that's when the guy stepped in who was really nice. His name is Khan. And I am saying, Khan at Walgreens. I'm not going to say which one, but you were amazing. Thank you so much for calming, taking care of it, having the tapes pulled, trying to figure out what's going on. And he's like, don't worry, don't worry. He filled my losartan, which is my blood pressure medicine. Cause like, I don't have any blood. Like, I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, I've never had this happen to me before. I've never experienced anything like this before. And he was like, I said, look, I have to get home. I said, my son's in the truck. My husband's in the truck. We haven't ate. We got to get home. I was like, I said, I need my medicine for tomorrow. I said, look, all I really need is my blood pressure medicine. I was like, I don't have any blood pressure medicine. I said, the other stuff I can get through the week with it. I said, but I need my blood pressure medicine. He's like, okay. He filled it right then and there. He says, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. He says, I'll call your insurance, whatever. So I was like, okay. So I got home. He says, I'll call you when it's ready. And I said, okay. I still came home. I called Walgreens corporate, because either it was someone else's fuck up, or it was somebody being shisty and shady, because I found out that there is now like a little black market for diabetic medication for the elderly. Isn't this crazy? This crazy world that we live in. People are taking other people's medications and selling it to the elderly who can't afford their medication because their insurance won't cover it. I'm like, what is going on in this world right now? So I called my insurance company. I told them what happened, and because I've never complained or called about this before, because it's not like narcotics, they were able to, because they considered it as like a lost medication, and so it was to get revised or whatever code, like I had to call Walgreens and tell them. And I was actually calling Walgreens when the guy called me, and he was like, I'm just calling to tell you I took care of it. He says, because you called Walgreens corporate. I said, I did. And I said, I told them, I said, I forgot your name, but you were so wonderful. I said, and you helped me out so much, and you calmed me down, and you took care of me, and you called the insurance for me and everything. And I said, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate that so very much. And he's like, no problem. He said, your prescriptions are here, they're ready, you know, blah blah blah. And I said, okay. I was like, I'll be after work, I'll come and get them. So my roommate picked me up and took me up to go get them. Of course, then they're like, there's no medications here for. I said, no, they're not going to be in the system. And I told her exactly what they were and the milligrams, and she's like, okay. She's like, I said it was a lost medication and I had to get it refilled. And she's like, all right. But it was just crazy. I had to call, like when I called Walgreens, they were like, okay. And they're like, well, that's not good. And, you know, because, you know, whatever. And I was just like, so I reported, because, and I guess they called the manager because they are going to have it investigated because that's somebody's medication. And like I said, I hate to be that person, but you know, it could be just a simple mistake, but that little simple mistake could cause somebody else, like maybe it's an elderly woman and she doesn't know how to call Walgreens, or maybe she's deaf, or maybe she's, you know, and she doesn't, maybe they gave away somebody else's medication. Like, what the heck? My phone number, I think, is on the medication bottles, like my name, you know, my address. So it's like, what the heck? Like, that's got my personal information on it. So I'm just like, I was beside myself. Unless they took it off the shelf and they threw the bottles away, which I'm kind of hoping deep inside to happen. They took it off the shelf and they threw it away, and because they needed the medication for somebody else. I don't know what the deal is, but they had a receipt though. It was paid for in cash. And they must have known my insurance company, and they had to have known my phone number and my address already. So I'm a little freaked out about this situation too. So, because at one point in time last year, I had all this weird stuff happen when like the Baltimore County, or the one police department in Howard County or something, was calling and looking for me for like an arrest because I failed to show up in court. And my husband's like, no, you got the wrong one, you know, like she's a school teacher, she's at work, she's at home if she's not at work, you know. And it was just such a crazy situation. I was getting like all these weird emails and like strange things, but nothing's happened like that lately. And I have really good we have home security, we have like internet security and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's very weird. But I've talked way too much, but I just wanted to fill you guys in and let you guys know, as soon as I get my my final appointment ready and get my surgery date, I will definitely let you guys know and take you on this journey with me. Thank you guys for listening to me babble for however long this video is. Thank you so much. I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, don't forget to be kind, because you don't know what kind of battle someone's going through. Bye.